Hi everyone, welcome back to Tinya Kids Story, where we bring you the most wonderful stories that teach us important lessons. Today, we have a heartwarming story about self-acceptance and finding your true self. Are you ready? Let's dive into the story of The Ugly Duckling. Once upon a time, on a quiet farm surrounded by lush green fields and sparkling ponds, a mother duck sat on her nest, patiently waiting for her eggs to hatch. One by one, the eggs cracked open, and out popped 5 fluffy yellow ducklings. They were all so cute and fuzzy, and Mother Duck beamed with pride. But there was one egg left, larger than the others, and it took much longer to hatch. Finally, the big egg cracked open, and out came a duckling that looked quite different from the others. He was bigger, had grayish feathers instead of soft yellow ones, and his beak was slightly longer. The other ducklings stared at him in surprise. "You're so big and gray, you don't look like us," they quacked. The other animals on the farm noticed too and began to whisper among themselves. Mother Duck loved all her children, but she couldn't help noticing how different this last duckling looked. She tried to comfort him, but the little duckling felt sad and alone. The other animals on the farm teased him, calling him Ugly Duckling, and he began to believe that something was wrong with him. As the days went by, the ugly duckling felt more and more out of place. No one wanted to play with him, and wherever he went, he was met with laughter and unkind words. One day, he couldn't bear it any longer. He decided to leave the farm and go out into the wide world, hoping to find a place where he belonged. The ugly duckling wandered far and wide. He came across many different animals, but none of them were like him. They all thought he was too ugly and strange to be their friend. He spent a lonely winter, hiding in the reeds by a frozen pond, shivering from the cold and sadness. But as winter turned to spring, something began to change. The sun grew warmer, the ice melted, and the birds began to sing again. The ugly duckling, now a little older and stronger, felt something stir inside him. He stretched his wings, and they felt bigger and stronger than before. One day, he saw a group of magnificent white birds gliding gracefully across the pond. They were the most beautiful creatures he had ever seen, with long necks and elegant feathers that glistened in the sunlight. The ugly duckling was drawn to them, but he was afraid they would reject him, just like everyone else had. But as he approached, something amazing happened. The beautiful birds didn't chase him away. Instead, they welcomed him with open wings. The ugly duckling looked down at his reflection in the water and gasped in shock. He wasn't a gray, awkward duckling anymore. He had grown into a stunning swan, just like the ones before him. The ugly duckling finally realized that he had never been ugly at all. He was just different, and it took time for his true beauty to shine. He had spent so long feeling like he didn't belong, but now he knew that being different wasn't something to be ashamed of. In fact, it was something to celebrate. From that day on, the ugly duckling, now a beautiful swan, lived happily, surrounded by friends who accepted him for who he was. He learned that it's okay to be different and that true beauty comes from within. And he never again let anyone make him feel like he didn't belong, because he knew that he was special, just the way he was. And so the ugly duckling found not only a place where he belonged, but also the joy of self-acceptance. And they all lived happily ever after. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful journey of self-discovery. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Tinya Kids Story for more amazing stories and lessons. And remember, you are special just the way you are. See you in the next video.